Hello, whoever is watching this video, thank you for doing so. Today I'll be informing you about the growth process of marijuana. If there's one thing that I hope you take away from this presentation, it is that marijuana is a naturally occurring plant and not a synthetic drug designed to do you harm. Why should you learn this information? I believe you should know this for the purpose of shining a light on the often misinterpreted marijuana plant. And the growth process can be broken down into four key stages: the germination stage, the seedling stage, the vegetative stage, and the flowering stage. As to why I'm credible, I'm a plant science major with aspirations to one day grow this plant, so this information is very important for me to know. So without further ado, let's get into the four processes. The first one being germination. According to Hayes, germination can be defined as the process of getting a seed to sprout. This process takes 5 to 10 days. The process is considered complete when the taproot sprouts, the taproot being the base root of the seed from which all other roots will form from. And during this process, it is recommended that you give it springtime conditions, which would basically be 18 hours of sunlight and lots of moisture. And here's a picture of what a complete process of germination would look like. As you can see, the taproot coming out of the seed. Moving on to the seedling stage. According to Greenpoint Seeds, the seedling stage is one of the most important stages in the marijuana plant's life. The process itself takes about 2 to 3 weeks, and here too much or too little water, fertilizer, or sunlight can prevent growth or even death of the plant. In this stage, roots will grow extensively, and like germination, 18 hours of sunlight is recommended, and this process is considered complete with the formation of true leaves. Here's an example of true leaves. As you can see on the left and the right side, these leaves have serrated edges, which is what you're looking for in this stage. Moving on to the vegetative stage. According to Leafly, the vegetative stage is where roots and foliage, which is the leaves, develop rapidly. This process can take anywhere between 3 to 16 weeks, and like the germination and seedling stage, 18 hours of sunlight is recommended. And here growth is primarily determined by the rate of photosynthesis throughout the plant. And to ensure good growth during this stage, you can give the plant nitrogen-rich nutrients and as much soil space as possible. And here's what a plant would look like in the vegetative stage. And this picture right here is actually an example of an untrained plant. And if you were to train this plant, you would basically remove a bulk of the leaves that don't receive any sunlight. That way the plant can give nutrients to the other parts that do receive sunlight. And moving on to the final stage, or flowering. According to Honest Marijuana, flowering naturally occurs when the plant receives less than 12 hours of sunlight a day. This process can take anywhere between 8 to 11 weeks. And in this stage, you'll need to determine whether your plant is a male or female in order to discard the males so they don't pollinate the female plants. And the end of this stage is marked by the maturation of buds that grow on the plant. And after this stage is complete, it's time to harvest. So here's what the beginning of the flowering stage will look like. These little white tendril-like things coming out of the plant. And the end of flowering, it would look like the bud itself. And from here, you would dry it out and harvest it. So what have we learned? Today, hopefully you've learned that the growth cycle of marijuana is just like other natural occurring plants that you see every day, whether it's trees, flowers, or vegetables and fruits. Hopefully you've also learned a little more about marijuana than you knew before and can see it as a natural plant and not a scary drug.